Welcome back everyone, and this will be the manga slash media haul that I mentioned in my previous video. All of this was bought while I was on vacation with the exception of one item that did arrive while I was out that I bought from Mercari. But everything else was either purchased at Kinokuniya, a separate bookstore, or HalfPrice books. We visited a lot of locations in the Dallas area and found a lot of good stuff. So this is a culmination of everything that I purchased while on this trip. I'll go ahead and start with the one that just arrived. This is X, the complete series. This is the anime classics version. I got this for I think $5 or $8 on Mercari. It was really cheap. That's the main reason I got it. It was wrapped brand new. I unwrapped it to make sure the discs were okay because the case did come cracked. I think that was just the shipping company because the seller did bubble wrap it and everything and it still came damaged. So I think they were just a little rough with the package. It has really cool background art. I did check all the discs and they're perfect. And then it has a list of the episodes on the back. So this is a clamp series that's quite old, and I did remember watching it, but I don't remember much from it now. My friend, who is also a fan of this series, said she remembers it being a tragedy, so it'll be very interesting to rewatch this and remember what it was about. But I do remember it being good, and I'm happy to have gotten it for so cheap. So there's that one. Since I started with anime, I'll go ahead and do the media first and do the manga last. So next, it's not anime, but I did find Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons player, but this was a fun time. And according to my friends and my sister who do play, they don't play D&D, but they do play Pathfinders. It had a lot of fun references for fans of the game, and was pretty accurate. And even though I don't play it, I know enough references just from general social media, and I know enough to catch some of the references and things like that. Here's the disc. I am disappointed it's quite plain. I was expecting it to have like the cast on it or something. The fact that it's bright blue is very curious, but I'm just happy to own it, especially for a good price. It was $10.99. This is the 4K and Blu-ray collection of The Dark Crystal. I was really happy to find this. I was honestly not expecting to, but I added it to my list and checked every location we went to just in case. I really enjoyed this movie. This is a very unique movie, and with the series on Netflix not getting a second season, I figured I might as well just grab the original. And I'm hoping to get the series at some point because I did really enjoy that Netflix series. It's a shame they never renewed it for a second season. There were a lot of other versions at one of the locations I went to, but they were all DVD, so I'm really happy to have found the Blu-ray. Next, I did find Beauty and the Beast for a pretty good price. I mean, you can't beat $4, so I'm going to add this to my Disney Classics collection. I also found Tinkerbell's Secret of the Wings. This is the only Tinkerbell movie that I enjoyed, so I went ahead and picked it up. I really liked the animation in it, and the story was really cute. I only watched these Tinkerbell movies passively as a kid, so I don't have too much attachment for them, but the ones I did enjoy, I do like a lot. So next, I picked up Paranorman. It's a good movie, very fun. One of Laika's classics. Not the biggest, huge fan of it, so I just passively was looking for it, and I did find it, so that's nice. This one I was excited for. It's still a bit pricey than what I was hoping to get, but I am glad to have Resident Evil The Complete Collection. This is all 6 movies, I believe. I'm mainly a fan of the first 2, but it's nice to have the whole thing so that I can, if I ever want to rewatch this series, I can catch up to everything. I found The Hunchback of Notre Dame on Blu-ray as well. Oh, this is the 2 movie collection. So does this come with the awful sequel? It does. Oh my gosh. That was a terrible film, but I'm glad to at least have the first one on Blu-ray for a good price and brand new. Next, I actually found The Three Musketeers on Blu-ray. I bought this movie already on DVD because I didn't think it had a Blu-ray, so I went ahead and picked it up. It's brand new as well, so that's pretty nice. I'll just sell back or donate the copy that I already have on DVD. Next, I was super excited about this. Only $5 for Planet Earth. This is one of my favorite docuseries. It's so well narrated, and the filmography is amazing. I especially loved it because it covers a lot of ocean environments, especially the dark sea or the deep abyss, whatever they call it, which is kind of rare. And I understand why it's probably really hard to film there, but I've always enjoyed this docuseries. Next, I was really excited for this one. This is Cat Dog, the full series. I loved this series as a kid, and it was super cheap. I think they gave it to me for $11.25. I think you can find this online for like $20, but I think that's a good price for a good series like that. I also found Darkwing Duck Volume 1, and I think Volume 2 is pretty easy to find online. I'll wait on it and just see if I can find it at HalfPrice Books as well, because $7.49 is a pretty good price, and it's the complete, I think, first season, or just the first 25 episodes, it says. I didn't watch this as much as Cat Dog as a kid, but I did enjoy the episodes I got to catch on Disney when it aired. And then I have two anime, the only two anime I was able to find, or was interested in really in picking up. This is Mirage of Blaze. My friend and I call this vintage yaoi, which we tend to find a lot of it at HalfPrice Books. I don't remember this one, to be quite honest, but I know I saw it. It is rated R, so it gets a little raunchy. You can kind of see it down there. But I remember it having good animation, so I was interested in just seeing what it was again. I'm sure I could find it online, but you know, it's just fun to find things like that in person. And then I did find Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles for $14.99. I don't care too much about this series, so I never picked it up, but I thought that was a good enough price to pick up. It's the full series, and I do have the movie that I think has the movie for this one that combines a storyline between this series and Triple X Holic. So nice to finally own this. And that is it for all the media. So I'll get started on the manga. I'll start off with some purchases that I made at Kinokuniya because I never buy anything full price from Kinokuniya. Manga is quite easy to find on sale and secondhand, so buying stuff full price to me isn't worth it. When I can just buy them, you know, brand new on sale on Crunchyroll or things like that. But since I was on vacation, I went ahead and got some stuff that I just didn't want to wait and order online. I'll start off with the one I was really on the hunt for, which is Tokyo Fears Rhapsody Volume 2. I purchased this recently and I did read it because the art style was really cool. The premise was quite interesting, and I already started reading this volume and I'm already enjoying it. I haven't continued on past a couple pages, but I was so excited to read Volume 2 and it barely released, and thankfully the Kinokuniya I visited had one copy available for me to purchase. If y'all are interested in a good story, at least so far, I highly recommend this series. It's super fun and I'm really enjoying it, so love that I was able to find that. I also picked up the final volume of Land of the Lustrous, which I needed to complete my collection. I already read this online, but it's nice to just have it for my collection. I love the artwork in this series, and the ending was just, I don't want to say soul-crushing, but it's quite bittersweet, but still really, really nice. Then I also picked up the Volume 6 of The Summer Hikaru Died. This just released, so I had actually pre-ordered this online from Crunchyroll, but I recently had my debit card compromised and was not able to change the payment in time before they canceled my order, so I just went ahead and started hunting for this. Thankfully, every Kinokuniya had this. Thankfully, one of the Kinokuniyas that we went to had it. They had a ton of copies, actually, so I'm glad to see this series is getting some recognition, especially with the anime completing. I think the anime has gone past Volume 6, but I haven't personally watched it. I'm gonna wait until I read this to watch it, so excited to finally continue that story. I also picked up this, Dear Door. It's a webcomic, a BL webcomic by Pluto, and it's quite thick. I was not aware that this was actually being published. This is a BL webtoon that I read years ago, and I stopped reading it after a while because I couldn't figure out what chapter to go back to, and the website I was reading it on had a lot of obnoxious ads, so I just stopped. But what I do remember from it was really interesting, really good artwork, and the spicy scenes were really nice too. I really liked the main couple. It's about a cop and a demon for anyone curious. So excited to read that because I honestly don't remember much of the story, so it'll be nice to reread it. And then we went to a bookstore that I mistook for a book off. I think it was called Books A Million, and they also carried manga. A lot of manga that Kinokuniya actually didn't carry. So it was nice to go through their collection. And I picked up this Sleeping on Paper Boats. It just sounded interesting and the art was really cool. Like, the art is beautiful. Look at that. It's about a writer in post-war Japan finding someone that they find enchanting. And yeah, just the artwork is the main reason I got it. But the story sounded interesting too. I also appreciate that it's volume 1, so there's more to it. Because some of these one-shots I've been picking up just haven't been good. So I'd rather read something that I know will continue the story and not worry about the author being unable to really make a cohesive story in one volume. But that's all the new manga that I picked up. Everything from here on out should be used. So I did find Frieren Volume 1 at HalfPrice Books. Super excited about this. I love this anime. I was really excited to find Volume 1 to just add to my collection. Not going to collect the rest of the manga because it's quite long, but it's nice to just at least have the original art. Then I found My Pathetic Vampire Life Volume 2. I have Volume 1 that I haven't finished, but again, I mean, it sounds like such a funny premise. And what I did read of Volume 1 was pretty entertaining, so I'm happy to find Volume 2. This one was a really lucky find, Boys Run the Riot. I was actually looking at this at one location at HalfPrice Books, and it was actually a new release. And then I found it used at a different location right after. Like, he has a crush on his best friend and all kinds of other stuff. So it just sounded interesting and I was really curious. So I'm happy to have found that for a good price. I also found Volume 2 of Devil's Candy. I did read Volume 1 and was interested in Volume 2, but not enough. The story didn't grip me to continue on right away. So it is now time for me to continue the story in Volume 2. Very cute Western manga by a Western author, Rem and Bikuri. I just really like the aesthetic of it. Look at it. Very Halloween-y. Next, I found Twisted Wonderland, The Book of Heartsable Volume 1. They actually had multiple volumes of this, but I only picked up one because I owned the Japanese version that I was planning to use to study. And I figured having the English volume is actually pretty useful to compare and see if my translations are correct. So I picked this up just for that purpose. Next I have Hell is Dark with No Flowers by Ruka Todo. I actually found Volume 2 at the largest location in Texas, but I didn't pick it up because I didn't want to start off mid-volumes, and I wasn't sure if I was going to find Volume 1, so I didn't get it, and then I found Volume 1, so kind of regretting not getting Volume 2, but this very much reminded me of Triple X Holic, and the Phantom Tales of the Night, which I also own, which is just this slightly sinister, seemingly, being granting wishes or helping people with their problems or supernatural issues, but there's usually some kind of cost associated. I just kind of liked the little beady eyes on this main character, so I picked up that. Then I found this one, which I remember reading when I was younger, Death at Death's Door by Jill Thompson. As you can see, the art style is quite dated. But it's about this girl who represents death and her various god siblings kicking her out of the, I don't want to say underworld, but like the god world. I don't know. It just made me nostalgic, so I picked it up since it was pretty cheap. Another throwback is Vampire Doll. I found Volume 2 first for only $3, so I picked it up. And then I found Volume 1 at a later location. That's all I wanted to collect. This is about, I believe, an ancient vampire being trapped in the body of a doll. But the art style is just really unique. I remember liking it a lot when I read this as a kid. I don't remember much of the story, so if I reread this, it'll be a nice little throwback. But there's that. I found Volume 1 of Marriage Toxin, which I was interested in purchasing when I saw it on Crunchyroll one day. Like, he just wants to find a partner, and he has this woman help him out. Obviously, they're probably going to be coupled together at the end, but the journey there seemed really fun. So, and the art looks really cool. So I'm excited to read this. It seems like a fun time. I also found The Witch and the Night Will Survive, which I saw previously and was interested in purchasing. It's a fantasy story about this knight discovering that the witch everyone says is evil may not be. And then whatever the story gives us, I guess. But the art looked really cool. And obviously it's fantasy. And after Frieren premiered, I think everyone's been on a fantasy kick. So really nice. Excited to read that. I actually already read this. I read it while we were just chilling at the Airbnb. This is Ayashimon by Yuji Kaku. It's actually a really fun time. Kind of gives you One Punch Man vibes. The main character is a human, but he lives in a world where demons exist and are kind of out in the open. But he's absurdly strong. He really likes manga characters and he wants to be a manga hero. So he trained as a child and now is so powerful that all the fights he gets into is just so one-sided. He becomes disappointed. Then he meets this girl who is, I believe, an heiress to a demon clan, who wants to kind of overthrow all of the current demon systems. So she has him help her with this goal. So far, it's quite entertaining. It is kind of a standard shonen, but the art was really appealing, and I do like the two main characters, especially her. So, and he's fun. He's a fun protagonist. If I ever go manga hunting, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for volume 2 of that. I was super excited for this. I found So I'm a Spider, So What by Asashiro Kakashi. I watched the anime to this when it aired and was really disappointed that it did not get a season 2. So I picked up volume 1 just to keep it as a reminder because I really, really enjoyed this one. I'll be honest, I don't like really isekai trash. A lot of them just seem very samey, or the protagonists are just super boring and generic. But this one had the hook of, first of all, being a female protagonist and also starting out her journey as a spider. I thought that was a neat enough kick to watch it, so I did watch it. And half of it was good. The other half was kind of boring because it involved following her classmates. Basically, her entire class gets transported or isekai'd to another world, which is a video game that she is actually familiar with, but she is separated from them all. So she goes through her journey alone, whereas all of her other friends kind of become knights and other things and become powerful together. So the anime splits between her and them, and I really enjoyed the parts with her in it, not so much them, but I know there was a reason for that. It all converges at some point, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was just really fun. Like, her journey was really fun, so I'm happy to have volume 1 of the manga. I found Boy Meets Maria, which they blocked the summary with the barcode, so I couldn't read the full summary. I think I had the chance to look it up and I just didn't. It didn't occur to me while I was in the store. I just picked it up because I was really attracted to this cover. I want to say it's about a transgender boy again, or it's about a girl who's pretending to be a boy. I don't know, to be quite honest. But the story sounded interesting, and as you saw from the dark pages, it also was surprisingly dark. I have not read it, so I'm really, really excited and interested to see what the story is. I also found Black Knight Parade, Volume 2, about the Dark Santa. Again, have not read this, even though I own Volume 1, but I was super excited to find Volume 2 because I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. And with the holidays coming up, that might just be something I read come December. I also found volume 1 and 4 of Rosen Blood, which is a manga I was actually eyeing on Crunchyroll not too long ago and considered buying, but I ended up not because I looked up how the story ends. It's a short manga series. I think it only has 4 or 5 volumes, and reviews were mixed that the story didn't really make sense about halfway through, but the art was so good that I went ahead and bought volume 1 and 4 anyway once I stumbled upon them, and I might just get the rest if I find them in HalfPrice books. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. I believe it's a vampire story, and that's all I remember from the summary. And then I also found this one, which is also vampire related. What's up with all these vampire manga coming out of the woodworks? But this one is more of like vampires coexisting with humans. And it does actually have an anime, but I haven't seen it. And the cover was so mesmerizing. I mean, this is gorgeous artwork. And just the way everything is laid out, it's beautiful. that I went ahead and picked up volume 1. I figured, let me read the manga. If I'm interested, I'll watch the anime. And if I'm not, I'll just keep the manga because it's beautiful. Next I have Yotsuya Ghost Knight. This is a very raunchy smut BL manga. Is it a series? I don't think so. Yeah, it's a one-shot. I found this at Kinokuniya and the artwork was so beautiful. I was blindsided. I didn't even realize his hand was sticky there. But y'all can look this up or just read the summary. I'm not going to explain what it is. My friend actually bought it to satiate both of our curiosities and she ended up giving it to me. So I'll read that in the future. From what she tells me though, it does have good reviews. So it must be a fun time despite it just being pure smut. Finally, I have Psychedelia. I actually forgot I bought this from Kinokuniya as well. This is another BL series or one shot, I think. So I'm giving this a lot of hope. First of all, the cover looked really cute, and when I looked it up online, it had really good reviews from people who read it, so I gave it a shot. It's a detective story. 2 detectives, or I think one of them is a detective and the other's something else, but it seemed fun. And the artwork was cute. The artwork is mainly how these mangaka get me. I intended to do an outer shot of everything, but I got so eager to put stuff away that I already put away a lot of the media. But here's at least an overall shot of the manga that I picked up. I'm very happy with everything that I found. Here's some of the anime left over that I have not put away. I will say I am officially out of room with this haul. I will need to rearrange the way I display or I have my manga organized on my shelves. I think I'm going to have to probably purge some of it as well and just do an overall overhaul of the way what my bookshelves are currently holding. I may have to move some stuff like crafting supplies to the closet, as well as purge the remainder of the novels that I own, just because I don't really read them, and a lot of them are just classics that I can pick up at the library fairly easily. I'll see what I can do to add all of these wonderful manga to my collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know the last haul was pretty haphazard, but since it was a mix of different things, I hope everyone enjoyed their Halloween, and I will see you in my next video.